Hey, good afternoon and welcome back to Question in Sense with me, Matt. Okay, today we're going to talk about a fragrance from possibly my favourite perfumer. I've already done a review of one of his, which was my find Megamara, which was a fairly recent obsession of mine, one I absolutely adore. I've also mentioned before that from Gaultieri's Nasamato range, probably Pardon is my favourite scent. So what I'm trying to do is sort of explore the rest of the Orto Parisi range. Now, Gaultieri he's been involved in perfumery for a long time, but he kind of sort of captured the public's imagination when he did the Nasamato, or the Crazy Nose range of scents. And there's obviously some major classics in there. Black Afghano is kind of possibly his most famous fragrance, maybe. Pardon is my favourite. Duro I also really like. I think I pretty much like the whole range. My wife's a big fan of Narcotic V. So, once I think Gaultieri walked away from that, or he's not walked away from it, he's just sort of ended it. I don't think there's going to be any more additions to the Nasamato range, which is a real shame. I think he's obviously spending all his efforts, or concentrating all his efforts, on the Orto Parisi range, which I believe was released in 2014 and is still being added to. I think Megamara only came out in 2019, so that was a fairly recent addition to it. I'm going to go back to 2014 now to talk about this fragrance, which is fairly new to me, and that is Viride, which is here. Look at the colour of the juice. I've never seen anything quite that green in a bottle before. Stunning presentation, very simple bottle, really solid cap. It feels almost like it's like a pewter or a brass with some good detail on the top there. You can't help but look at the colour of that. The liquid in the bottle is superb. So again, as always with dear Mr. Gaultieri, whenever he releases a fragrance, there are no notes. So everything seems to be down to your interpretation, which is it's an interesting adventure, but it also makes reviewing it quite difficult because the only reference point you've got is obviously your nose and basically other people's opinion, and everybody does seem to have an opinion about the various fragrances that Mr. Gaultieri has made. Now, of the Orto Parisi range, obviously I love Megamara. I really love Toroni. Toroni is really sort of fierce. It's almost got this sort of smoked paprika-y kind of feel to it. Very similar to my nose anyway, to Black Afghano. Almost like a flanker to Black Afghano. I'm sure that he would hate me to say that, but that's kind of the vibe I get. I love Toroni as well, by the way. So let's talk about Viride. This came out in 2014. I'm not quite sure where the name comes from, but a cursory sort of look on the internet has revealed that Viride is a type of fungus, so that may explain the colour, that's used in the treatment of soil to basically kill or contain other funguses that are other pathogens that are in the earth. Anyway, enough waffle. What does it smell like? Let's give it a little spray, which is always a treat. This stuff is pretty much divine. Let me just put the glasses on. As always, great presentation, stiff sprayer, beautiful juice, quite thick, quite heavy, and quite crazy. It's not as mental as some of the fragrances that Mr. Gaultieri has made in the past. It's a bit of a grown-up fragrance for the Orto Parisi range, to be honest with you. It's not, whereas Megamara is really exciting, or Toroni is just quite barking and bonkers. This is a clever grown-up fragrance, and this is one of the ones that he's made that you can wear anywhere. You can wear to the office, you can wear in the evening, you can wear it out and about, you can do whatever you like with it because it's divine, and there's a reason for that. Really clever notes, really crazy blending. The blending, as with to be honest with you, I haven't found anything either in the Nasamato range or the Orto Parisi range that hasn't been well blended. All these fragrances take you on a journey. Maybe not so much this one. This one's quite, well, I was going to say it's quite linear, but it's not actually. I'm kind of running away myself. It's green, so you would expect it to be fresh and you'd expect it to be woodsy, and it kind of is. It has mint in there, and it has quite a minty opening, but not like, for example, Amouage's Beach Hut Man, which has a really fresh mint. This mint here sort of lifts it. It's interesting that I mentioned Amouage because although there's mint in it, the closest thing I can think of that smells similar to Viride is Amouage's Bracken Man, and I think that this and Bracken Man actually smell quite a lot alike. They're very, there's an earthiness in both of them, which I really like. I mean, Bracken Man is probably a louder scent than Viride, but it kind of does the same sort of thing. It's a grown-up scent. So this has a green and woody opening with some mint. I get that, but very, very quickly you get a lot of spices coming in, which are supporting the woods, they're supporting the green notes, they're supporting the mint, they're not dominating it. There's definitely clove in there, maybe a little cinnamon and something like that, again, sits under to support the opening. And it stays like that for quite a long time. You've probably got an hour, maybe a little bit longer, of this sort of minty, fresh, woodsy opening. And then something quite strange happens. When you've got something like, say, like Tom Ford's Italian Cypress, or one of my favourites is Z14 or Polo Green. It's very much a green, woody fragrance where you know exactly where you are. What happens with this is after about an hour, the woods and the greenery starts to subside, and you get something that I think is either vanilla or tonka that starts coming in with some musk, which changes it quite dramatically. It still retains the spice, and that still sits there. You've still got those sort of delicate little flicks of spice sort of tipping, picking away at the body of the fragrance. That always stays there. But as it goes on, and it doesn't project massively. It's not like Megamara or Toroni or some of the Nasamatos that really, really, really belt out. This doesn't. This projects quite loudly for the first 45 minutes to an hour, and then it sits closer in. So it does project a little, but it's not, it's not shouting. That's why, I said earlier you could easily wear this in the office because it's a close scent. I wore it, I took my son to like a little rock festival type thing a couple of weekends ago. We had a great time. A friend of mine came up and we were chatting away. She's got an interest in fragrances too. And she smelt it and she said, "Oh wow, that's a real sandalwoody, sort of beautiful woody fragrance that you've got there." And I hadn't really picked up on the sandalwood until my friend sort of pointed it out. So yeah, there's a woody base to it which becomes more prominent as this kind of runs along its course. It does last a long time though. It might not project massively, but it lasts and lasts and lasts. Once you put it on, you've got it with you all day. And like a few of the other Gaultieri productions, I suppose is the right word, this seems to be quite dramatically affected by your body heat. As you get warmer and as you move around, it kind of comes off in waves. So you may think it's settled down, which certainly I had, and then I kind of was mucking about a bit and sort of running around with my son, and it started to flare up again, and it came a little stronger, and then it dies down, and then it becomes a little stronger. So it's quite an interesting scent in that respect. It's not over at all. It's not over when you think it's over. It will come back again, which I kind of quite like. But it's so pleasant. The tonka or vanilla, I'm not entirely sure which, or it may be a little bit of both. Just gives it some sweetness. Now, if you're a fan of Alessandro Gaultieri's works, you'll notice that he's got this sort of almost like a trademark musk that appears in kind of everything. Sometimes, like in Orto Parisi's Burger Musk, the musk is really, really strong and aromatic and a bit, whoa! I remember saying, about it smelling a bit like dog's feet, burger musk, that is. And it does. But the musk is still there, but it's nowhere near as animalic. It's nowhere near as divisive. It's nowhere near as strong. And it doesn't dominate the fragrance at all. It sits under it, it supports it, and it gives you, just another note in there to stop it becoming quite, not dull. I don't think it'd ever be dull, but it just, I don't know, if you like a fragrance and it interests you, this is the sort of thing that you want to wear, because there's little tweaks and little highs and lows and troughs and peaks that really, really make this an interesting wear. When I first wore it, I thought, all right, okay, it's nice. Yeah, I like the smell. It doesn't really do a lot. It smells okay. It's pleasant. It's, it's nice for the people around you, but it's not very exciting. But this is another clever thing. With this, the more you wear it, the more you appreciate it and the more you get out of it. It's quite fascinating, and it's worth it just for the colour. Look at that. It's amazing. Anyway, I really rate this, and I really enjoy it. It's certainly not going to be for everyone. If you're a fan of Bracken Man and you want maybe a different interpretation of that kind of vibe that Bracken Man gives, well worth a look. I certainly recommend you sample it. All of the Gaultieri productions are supposedly unisex. Now, I disagree with that because, for example, on the Nasamoto range, Narcotic V to me is extremely feminine. It's beautiful, but it's very feminine. You know, and some of the other Nasamotos and some of the other Orto Parisis are certainly very masculine, especially something like Megamala, which is very masculine. This, I think, veers, rather, not leans, it certainly veers more towards being a masculine scent. And for that one, I think this is pretty much one for the guys. It's lovely. I thoroughly recommend it. For some reason, they're not selling very well, Orto Parisi, so they can be held. You can find them on eBay at really good prices. So if you're interested in building up a collection of Orto Parisi, have a look on eBay because there's some great deals to be had. I can't say enough good things about it. I will again say though, it's probably not going to be for everyone, like most of the things that Mr. Gaultieri does. So try and get hold of a sample of it, or even better, get sort of a 5 or 10 ml decant so you can spend some time with it. The more you wear it, the more you'll love it. That's a fact. I thoroughly enjoy it. So please give it a try, give it a sample, and thank you very much for your time. It's very much appreciated. Lots more reviews coming. They're coming thick and fast at the moment, so we're trying to get as many out as we can. So please like and subscribe, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Bye!